as a director, not give away too much, or even in the writing, and I don't know where that kind of draws the line between the directing and the writing, because I know you do both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you not give away so much of the movie line in a scene where you want to kind of let it build up, or drag out because we're not to the climax of the scene yet? How do you control that or balance that?
Again, I don't. It's not mine to tell right now. This is their story to tell at this point. You know what I mean? They'll let me know when they tired. I don't get in the way. I'll stay back until y'all tell me we done. We done. We've given it all we can give you, Joe. That's it. That's all. That's all it is. And for me, how does a sex scene end? With a climax, right?
Mm-hmm.
They climax, we done. I got it. We good. If they're going to keep going and they refuse the climax, I'm just going to keep going until you tell me what's up. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much when somebody goes.
You never called cut and double kill. They just kept going. They were like, "Are y'all?
Are we done or are we finished?"
So to go back a little bit on the me and Joe be so locked in to the point where it's like I know what he want before he has to tell me. And if I'm asking, I'm asking for a confirmation and not really clarification. And so a lot of the times, if you see throughout the movies, we've talked through so much for prior scenes, so that next scene that it adds up and that it continuously flows. And that's just how dynamic you have to be with your director. And not to mention, as an actor, you got to bring that shit every single time. I ain't even trying to toot my horn. I bring that shit every single time.
You do.
It just is
You
what
do.
it is. It's like that's not a like trying to just flex on those shit. It's just truth, because the proof is in the pudding. So I think when it comes to even with our sex scenes, it was like, like throughout the movie, nobody showed me respect. None of my family respected me outside of my mama. If we keep it a beam, but I'm the flyest nigga in the movie.
Okay.
I have my own club. I got my own car. You know what I'm saying? Everybody stay at Bapo house, so it's not just me. You know what I'm saying? But I got my own.
That's what I was trying to figure out. Where in the fuck? Why was y'all all in the same house?
I got
Family
wealth.
Family wealth.
Chicks.
That's why.
Family wealth. You know. So I got two chicks. Like, but you just go through that. It's like, damn. Like he said that he's saying he's not no boss, but every time he pulling up in that thing, he own the club. Like. It's nuts, you know what I mean? But that's what it was, building that resentment, building those different things up till we got, to the point we got to. But yeah, and then the last part, what was that last part you were saying? Because I know you directed it to Joe about this direction, but yeah, he gives us free reign to bring the person to life. That's our job. Like, we as actors, I'm hiring you to bring that person to life. I'm not gonna I'm gonna give you an idea or maybe a concept, but all the nooks and crannies, backstory, all that stuff, that's our job.
Go ahead.
I had an actress, God bless her. She said, I would just hope for you to direct me more. And I said, "You tell you how to do your job. You want me to do that?" I said, "I don't do that. I don't micromanage actors. I don't do that.
Yeah, no.
If you want me to tell you how you should be and this, that, and the third, I'm not the one. I'm not the one for that. I'm here. The reason you're here is so you can bring what you bring to the table. You know what I mean? I direct you and say, hey, this is what I need from you. This is what I'm looking for. This is the story, blah, 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 blah. Most of my directing is in the script. I wrote it. You know what I mean? Most of the directing is in the script. After that, you tell me who she is. For example, when people audition for me, right? I sit there and people don't know what I'm thinking. You know what I'm thinking? Introduce me to the character. I never met him before.
Okay.
I never met him. So when you walk in, I'm expecting to be introduced to Jason Perkins. You know what I mean? I never met him. I don't sit there like I know exactly who this guy is and da. I never met him. So the guy who walks in and tells me who Jason Perkins is, that's the guy who's getting the role. You know what I
So
mean?
is it from the gate? Like I've seen these things where like auditions come like I don't remember exactly what, but even like in the singing thing, they kind of come with the persona already on, and they're in character from the door to the chair to sitting down to interacting. You know, is that what you look for when you're talking about
What's
a character
When
being embodied?
they could have not been that outside, but when I see them, I'm looking for the character. Like
what's so even? Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I actually done an audition with Joe Nam, and like I went in the audition for one role, and ended up with a totally different role from that. And it was like, well, that's not who I auditioned for. He
Yep.
said, "No, trust me, Dave, this is you. This is you." And
yeah,
I was like, okay, well, let's go with it. You know what I'm saying? So all because you come in and audition for that particular role, it doesn't mean that's where you're gonna end up at, because things do change.
right.
All you thing is, you just got to be prepared for it. And 9 times out of 10, if the casting director, whoever, like or just the actual film director, like if they move you, they're moving you for a reason. They feel like you fit
Yep.
best here, because I've done well, now it's probably all together, which two of them haven't came out yet, haven't dropped yet, but um we did 10 Reasons Why Men Cheat. Now, that's a totally different role compared to what I'm playing in Perc30.
Mm-hmm.
Then from Perc30, Everybody Hates Christmas, another different role. Now it turns into something else. So Joe is actually, with my range, I'm having to show that I have range, because these are three different type of personalities, three different type of roles that I'm having to play. I'm going from being a family man on one to this mob type thug, that
Uh-huh.
ain't saying
Uh-huh.
much, but I ain't a killer,
Jump
but
up
don't
over
push
a
me. But then
table.
again, yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
Just don't try me like that. To being in a whole nother film that is basically I'm comedy in that one. So it's just one of those things to where you just have to be prepared for it. You just got
Yeah,
to
and
be
like
ready for whatever.
yeah, like
How
David
did
said, I mean, as an actor, as talent, like when you get the sides when you're auditioning, you read it, right? And you on in a lot of times these are due in like a couple days, so you don't have a lot, and sometimes it'll be like due tomorrow, right? So you don't have a lot of time to build a whole backstory, so you quickly have to analyze, and what character am I going to bring to life? So there is you are who you are, but you have all these experiences in life where you've been pissed off, angry, you might have been a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You tap into all those to bring it out in that audition, and you got to show up with that on your shoulder, already wearing those clothes. You know what I mean? You
that's
got to
what I was
already
gonna
have it
say.
ready. And you may not be fully, like for me, I'm not fully, I'm no Jared Leto where I send my cast like dead rats and shit in their mailbox because I'm the Joker. I'm not that. But I might wear a chip on my shoulder, or I might react differently outside of the role even than my true Tom. You catch me on the street self. But there's still that it's you're still kind of tethered and anchored, but you're using all of those experiences in your life and bringing them to the audition or bringing them to the role. You know what I mean?
Facts. It was so crazy. I can even tell our story, Joe. We had me and Joe connected. I know it had to be on IG, but we connected at the top of the year, and we just chopped it up. We was like, bro, when I have something for you, boom, 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 and I was like, cool. I kid you not, remember it. So later in the year, it obviously had to be around because we filmed in October, November. So I'm getting ready to board a flight to Cincinnati because I had booked a gig. He called me. He said, "Hey, Playboy, I got a role for you." I said, "Send it over." I'm reading for Jason. I'm like, "What? Hell yeah! Send this through. Send it through." And I already knew the vibe. I knew I had the suits. All those suits are mine. I knew I had
Okay.
everything needed to play the character. I made sure the mohawk was on point. Like I built him up throughout me being over in Cincinnati and coming back and just getting into that mode until it was time to film. So it was just like sometimes you just know when it makes sense. And
Yeah.
even with us just discussing how everything goes, and saying once we got on roll, it was on roll. Our first scene was actually when we met the doctor that I filmed. My first scene was when we met the doctor, the chemist. My bad, the chemist, and everything.
Oh,
And it
okay.
was
Okay.
on, and it was just on point from there.
Well, Tyrone, to your point too, like he was saying, he was flying up to Cincinnati. You get this role. I mean, you're developing that character throughout your life.
So
I'm in the shower, I'm thinking about that character. I'm brushing my teeth.
what would Mr. Invisible do in this?
Mhm.
How would he interact in that? You know, that kind of.
Oh man, I'm putting on my nice house slips. I'm chilling. I could probably shirtless, got a robe on. I'm sauntering everywhere. You know what I mean? I probably, take my perks. I'm taking drugs right off the bat. I wake up out of bed. It's on my nightstand, right? I like right away. If I'm invincible, that's what I'm doing. Boom, starting the day off right. Get my head right. Then I'm walking out.
What the fuck?
Checking out my shit. You know what I mean? That's what's invincible doing. For me, I don't do that, right? But like you get in that mindset, like you're showering, you're cooking, your day-to-day life. Even driving a car, how's he gonna drive? How am I gonna sit? Like little shit like that throughout. You're developing those, so when it comes time to go, you got that car scene, you got this scene, you got this, that, or the other. You've already gotten in the mindset. You've already gone through the motions. You just go from there, and then let the director tell you, tweak it a little bit, But.
Right, and that's what I was going to kind of tag off of. So, how do you, as an actor, not give away too much of the character's motivation too soon? Does that make sense?
Build. Yeah, the build.
Yeah,
the
build up.
The character.
How do you? Yes. How do you not give away so much so
let me
soon?
say this. Me and it's two situations come to my mind. When I did speed dating with Leonard Robinson, Leonard played a guy who was confused on whether or not he was gay or not, right? Because he had tendencies. And when you have tendencies around cool people, they start to go, man, that's gay. You know what I mean? So he heard that so many times, he's like, yo, am I? So as the movie goes along, he becomes more and more and more. And so me and Leonard was like, okay, he's got to dress one way in the beginning of the movie, like that's suspect. But as we go along, it gets more and more and more. And by the end, he's wearing a scarf. He's got all kinds of crazy stuff on, and he's flamboyant, still confused, right? But as a character, we talked about it. Like he can't wear this at this point in the movie because his character ain't there yet. Me and Tyrone did the same thing. It's like, hey, you are that guy, but they don't know it.
Yeah.
So when they challenge you, you got to back down because we can't let the audience know. You know what I mean? So anytime he gets challenged, he got to back down. Tyrone don't want to back down, but Jason has to because he's got a master plan. So he can't come off too aggressive because they might see him as a threat. They don't see him as a threat. Nobody in the family sees him as a threat. You know what I mean? And it's because Tyrone had to play it down, you know what I mean? To be like, okay, cool. I'm the weak one. You know what I mean? And he did a masterful job at that. A masterful job.
I agree.
I think what's hard about that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Joe. I thought you were done. What's hard about that is sometimes we filmed, Jason Perkins revealing, and then later that night we're filming him at the dinner table. So he's already been that, but now he has to back up because the scenes are not filmed in order, and you have to remember that. That's the most important thing to remember is what am I doing now, as opposed to 2 hours ago I was this because that was later on in the movie. Now I got to go back, and I think, like he said, Tyrone killed it with that.
Absolutely. That's where that chemistry with that director, and Tyrone mentioned it too, right? Like you already know because y'all talked to the director before and all this kind of stuff. You've already established this. The director keeps kind of the actor in that storyline and character arc, and they help you refine that. But you guys have already talked about that, so you already kind of know what they're expecting, and then the director will come in and tweak it, right? The director's not there to direct your acting, like per se, like, oh, do this better, or do that, or, he'll just be like, hey, in the storyline, like Joe just brought up, he just got done with that, and you're like, oh shit, that's right, that was paid, blah 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 blah. All right, cool, I got you. No, I can get there, and then boom, you put it out, right? But a lot of times, like Tyrone was saying, you already gone through the motions. You already read the whole script. You already kind of know the storyline. You just, once that movie gets rolling, it gets rolling. You guys fall into a good chemistry and you just go, you know what I mean? And that's, so.
Let me say this, Tom. I have three really good actors that you're watching right now. All of them play characters who are not themselves. David is a very jovial, good-natured, talkative guy. He's playing Cordero, who's stoic. Don't
Exactly.
I'm straight to the point. You know what I mean? He's a totally different guy. So we had that, have that conversation. Like, he can't talk. He's got to give facial expressions. You know what I mean? It's all in his face. You know what I mean? But
that's a good point. The mannerisms of the character. And that's what I wanted to also kind of talk about, that nonverbal communication that you have as a character, like somebody who's naturally goofy or whatever. Now you got to get on a serious face and you got to just look.
You don't even understand how hard that was for me, because I'm like, they know I like to laugh, I like to joke and clown, like, I mean, Joe done got on my ass a bunch of times on say, hey, quiet, hush, stop, it's not a joke, this and that. And I'm like, man, I can't help it. That shit was funny, Joe. Like, I can't.
Right.
So I'm just up here the whole time. I'm like, I gotta hurry up and like snap and like.
But to his point, David is so good. He can get out of it, wipe his mouth from eating a sandwich, and go up there and have tears in his eyes and sell the scene. Like, he can kill it. From me, a comedian, to tears in his eyes about his sister sick in bed, and he can really pull those strings, and he's so good at that. So I give you all that credit, David.
And then Tom, same
Thank
thing.
you.
Tom is not a drug addict. He's not a drug dealer.
Right.
But he and I had those conversations. And it's one of the things about being a director. It's like, you have to care about every character. So I call these guys and we talk about it and we want to walk through it. And, okay, this is what I'm seeing. And then tell me what you're seeing. And then we come together on, okay, how we want to play this character. And so that's why by the time we get the set, I really don't have much to say. We done did that already. You know what I mean? Tom comes in. I know what he's going to do because we talked about it. But everyone else is amazed because this is not the same Tom Vera we know. You know what I mean? We talked about the jacket, like what jacket he was going to wear and everything. I like that jacket. Yeah, that's it. So it's like we talk about everything because clothing matters as well.
It does. And as a director, you're a relationship builder. You have to maintain a good rapport with your talent in order for.
One of the most difficult things in directing, one of the most difficult things is to lock in with actors who understand that we're here to make a movie. You know what I mean? Like, we're here, like right now you're looking at 3 professionals, right? That's not always the case. It's not always the case. Some people don't get it. You know what I mean? They just don't understand that we're here to make a movie. We're not here to talk about your personal life. I'm not your camp counselor or nothing like that. We're here to make a movie. I'm here to direct a movie and turn this piece of art into something fantastic for the audiences to see. We as Elmore Vision, we very clear on that. You know what I mean? We're very clear on that because I want Tom to have an experience of the work. You know what I mean? The work. This is about the work. When you understand that, it becomes a great piece of art. You know what I mean? If Tom's locked in, think about the stuff that me and Tom talk about, me and Tyrone talk about. Then we're in the scene with David, who's also professional, but I'm gonna use him as an example here. And David's not locked in. You know what I mean? So now these guys are locked in on their character, but he's not locked in. That ruins it all. You know
That's what I was gonna say. It messes up the whole scene if somebody's not the stoic character they're supposed to be, and they're giving away different body language that somebody who's an asshole wouldn't do. You wouldn't be all jolly and moving all around, and all silly acting if you're, supposed to be that character. So so I guess here's the next question I think I have for this is like, you as a director, when you're writing the script and when you're now bringing it to life, is it your goal to have people come back to this movie over and over again to get stuff that they missed, or to just get it all at once?
Nah, all the time. We drop nuggets all the time. I have a movie called Because I Love You, and in that movie, there's Genesis all in the movie. The lead character's name is Adam. I have a snake, a snake that shows up out of nowhere in the middle of the movie. A real snake just shows up for no reason. One of the guys' name is Serpent. I have the sheriff biting the apple when he's about to turn into something evil. I put all types of nuggets in there. And same thing with Perc30. We just drop nuggets. Like with Tyrone's character, there are nuggets to say that he's the man. But we don't tell him that. He owns a club. Papa was telling him, you need to focus on business. He's the only one out of the family who owns a club, who owns anything of his own. That's a nugget to show that he's more of a boss than you know. You know what I mean? We've been dropping nuggets of who he was this whole movie, and nobody's paying attention because he's doing a good job of playing it down.
Exactly. Because when I saw the end of it, I was like, Tyrone, you did that. You did that. Instantly, I was like, what? What is this? But it does make you go rewatch it, because now, as I've done these interviews and I've talked to the actors and actresses aside from this, I'm like, what? That happened? Oh, I got to go back because I missed it completely, because I was the one in the movie theater you don't want to be around, talking shit and laughing and joking, and I can't turn and see these certain parts because it was just too much. And then I'm like, oh damn, I missed a whole bunch of things. But now that it's on Tubi and Peacock, I can go rewatch it as many times as I want.
Absolutely.
But exactly, and we running it up. But how do you know as a director what scenes to cut versus what to keep? And then how do you, as a writer, kind of take yourself personally out of it? Because, you know, like, I'm a writer too. So I know I'm like committed to my writing, and I'm like, this has to be here. It has to make sense. But it's poetry for me. So it's not necessarily a script, but you're attached to that writing. So how do you detach yourself from it and say, okay, you know what, this is too much. We're giving away too much here, or we're not giving enough here. We have to add more. How do you determine that?
I think you have to be an audience to be a good director. You know what I mean? You have to be an audience. So it can't be about you. You know what I mean? It has to be about the story. So it ain't about what I like and my favorite thing. Because there are things in movies that I've taken out that I really love. But if you watch the movie, you go, it don't work. You got to be honest about it. You know what I mean? You can't say, I like it, but what does the movie like? How does it work with the movie? You know what I mean? Like, I got a scene in Gutter that's so long, but it is freaking hilarious about LaToya just being out of her mind on drugs and stuff, and she's just bouncing all off the walls, and I think it's hilarious. I cannot put that in that movie.
There's a scene in Complex that I thought was just so unbelievably hilarious. I was like, wait, I know she finna cheat on his motherfucking ass. Go up there now, because he is doing way too much. And I just loved it. And I'm like, okay, I've become a fan of your writing through that. But it's like, how do you as a writer, like, you're welcome, all flowers to you, because that really had me like, how do you know when enough is enough of a character's backstory or of a flow of this scene when you're on the cutting floor, as they say? That's the biggest thing for me.
I tell you really gotta. I used to think when I first started writing, sometimes I would write and I'd go and I'd get sleepy.
Okay.
Right? So you go back and read it and you get sleepy again. You go back, you get sleepy again. But then there's certain scenes you go, you like pumped up, like, oh, and this is gonna happen, and this. That's the pocket you need to stay in. That stuff, okay. Sleepy, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Fix it. You know what I mean? The beginning of Gutter, it took me like a month to get that right because something was wrong. I had to take a lot out of it. I took like 30 minutes out of the beginning of Gutter. And now when I watch it, I'm like, oh, it's perfect. You know what I mean? but you got to be.
So you're not afraid. You're not afraid of cutting, recutting, cutting, recutting, editing, editing, cutting, recutting. That doesn't bother you because your goal is to get it right, not to just put out shit.
Just because I wrote it, that don't mean it's good. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
that's deep.
Just because
That's deep.
and I see a lot of people doing that, like I wrote it so it has to stay. No, sometimes it's nothing personal with nobody. Sometimes people end up on the courtroom floor. It's nothing personal. You just watch the movie and go, I don't need that. I don't need it. The story don't need it. You know what I mean? Just like Tom said, he's got a great backstory in Perc30. He has a great back. I love the backstory. I wrote it. I freaking what the thing is, I know that guy. So it's actually personal to me. I know the guy, I wrote it well, I got a great actor, and I can't use it. I can't use it. It's gonna drag the story along. And
So,
if he was the story, then I could keep it. But he's not the story. Siobhan is. I got to get to her. You know what I mean? If I stay on him too long, I'm not gonna get to her. You know what I mean? So I got to give you enough of his character, enough of his story to see him be the cool guy. This is what I do. Blah blah blah. And I got to get to that. I can't give his backstory. It hurt my heart not to do it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because I love the story and I wrote it. It was written well, and I got the actor, but I gotta let it go. Gotta let that scene go because it's about her. We got to get to her outside. You know what I mean?
you know, as much as there is the art of acting and directing, there's also the art of editing, right? A lot of people think, movies, I don't know if a lot of people think this, I say this, but like, general perception, they don't see behind closed doors, so they see the film. Actors get a lot of recognition, directors get a lot of recognition, but there's a lot that goes behind the camera, that goes into post, that can totally destroy a movie. Because it's not complimenting it. And Joe's hitting it, the nail right on the head. That there's an art form to editing it, and you can't be tied to those things. You gotta take the audience on that adventure, right? That's the point of doing this. And there's an art form, and everyone involved is as important as everyone else. We're all on equal playing field. We're all trying to make a movie, trying to make it the best we can. And man, yeah, it's an art form, all of it. Everyone's role.
Everybody got to do their part.
Right.
Everybody.
And by the way, real quick, Dave, Candy me and Candy edited Perc30 together. Candy actually an amazing editor. She is an amazing editor, and
she did great.
She did a great job with it, and it's so funny how people. They want to make something out of something because they know some information.
Talk about it. Come on. Okay, I was wanting to know if you was gonna go there. Come on, let's do it.
It's just that we put art together. You know what I mean? That's what we do. We put an art together. That's all it is. So when you see it, it might not be what you're used to. That's cool. Sit back. Wait a minute. I didn't like freaking Drake when I first heard him. You know what I mean? He was different. So it's like, But now it's like he's the number one guy or whatever. So you got to sit back and let it marinate for a minute and be like, okay, I wasn't used to that. But, now I see what's happening. Oh, that's fire. You know what I mean? I've done that so many times when it came to art. When I first saw it, I didn't get it. You know what I mean? But now you get it and go, oh, that's dope. That's dope. And that happens to me all the time because I'm always trying to do something different. You know what I mean? And people don't understand it. Like even when I did Double Kill, I have the room where he holds a prisoner is in red. And some people told me they didn't like the red color. I'm like, all right, cool. Like
that adds to the element of
that's
the scene.
I agree. Enough. It's not supposed to be seen enough. It's supposed to be dark and mysterious and creepy. But if you don't, that's cool. You know what I mean? We're creating art. We're not gonna do it typically in like a nice little served up on a platter so you can just understand it right away. Like you said, it has to be gone back and looked at again and again and again. And you go, oh, I see what they was doing with that. Okay, I get it now. You know what I mean? And that's
because when you play with color or scene changes, like when we're in a dark setting and things like that. That was something interesting that I saw that you did with Complex, and I was like, I'm adjusting my iPad, like I can't see what is going on. And then you know, you get why it was done that way because there's a mystery with it, and there's different ways that I'm learning through watching at least your work because you know this is just what I'm on right now. But at least your work, I see that that's one of the things that you use to add to the aesthetics of the movie, but to add to the storyline, not just we're gonna shoot this in the sunlight and
Right.
everything's bright, but
Right.
then we got this crazy ass music to tell you something's happening, but the scene doesn't match.
Right.
You know, and you're like, what kind of silence?
This creates tension too in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's a whole
it does
art.
because you can't see, and
There's
you
a whole art
can't,
to
or
it.
you know exactly. You know when it's gonna be a sexy scene because it's not just the music, but it's the tone of everything, or you know when it's
Mood,
something's
the
crazy gonna
lighting.
happen because it's the lighting and the mood and the way people are, the body language. And I love that that's what you use. It's like you use everything. All of the senses are activated, not just the music, the score of the music and things like that. Because if we listen to the music alone, I wouldn't have thought the movie played the way it played. Let me just say that. Because I was like, oh, this is interesting music and things like that. So it definitely helped to see all of the elements come to life. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, kudos all the way. And I'm definitely going to continue to promote this movie, even after we move on to the next movie and things like that, because I love it. I really do love it. So thank you guys for, I want to wrap us up because I know we got, folks got stuff to do. And I don't want to keep y'all because I could a whole nother hour even, but I don't want to do that. I
Say,
thank
I
you
want
all
to
for
know.
coming. I know, you got stuff to do. I know. So, I thank you all for coming on. And if you want to do a little plug on the next projects, you're welcome to. If you want to hold off on it, or whichever, go. Tyrone, you was ready. Go ahead. We'll start there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go out and stream Perc30, starring us, this ensemble that you see here. Next up, we got Everybody Hates Christmas that's coming out in November. And right after that, we have Guns Down. And we are going into production for the film Bars, another Elmore Vision production exclusive. As you can see, this is an Elmore Vision takeover. If you are not a
It
part of it,
is.
if you have not been showing, don't just start here. Go back and look at all the other projects and speed yourself up forward to what we got coming out. Absolutely.
Because I'm doing my homework now as we speak.
Candy, you want to tell them what we're doing?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, you know, if you love Tyrone, you're gonna go back and watch the movies. If you love David, you got to go back and watch 10 Reasons. You know, Tom Berry, you got to go watch him in Double Kill. And I love that we are diverse in our stories. Some are comical, some are scary, some are gritty and dirty. And so it's just a diverse book that we
You love
have
the dirty.
for.
Dirty,
There's always
dirty.
dirty. Look, we have a Christmas movie coming out. It's a little dirty, and that's okay, because we got to put that grit in it for our audience. For this is Elmore Vision. This is his vision. This is his art, and so we're all here to bring that alive. And he makes us all look good. So
Yes, he
thank you
does.
for having us on. And yeah, these actors, they're all top notch. So I'm honored to work with you all.
Tom, you
Amen.
go ahead. Oh,
Yeah, I
go ahead, Tom.
appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for having me on. Man, everybody was so good seeing y'all. It's been a minute. But yeah, everybody check out Perc30 on Tubi, man. You'll like it. You won't be disappointed. Like, Tyrone said, go back and watch the others. Go back, watch them all the way through, man. Follow the journey of Elmore Vision and see how they progress and see all the stuff that they're doing, man. Always pushing the envelope, always pushing the bounds. So, hey, Joe, hit me up for another one.
You already know.
Right?
But yeah, no.
Plug yourself.
I appreciate
Plug
you.
yourself.
Yeah. But hey,
Go ahead, David.
thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, once again, I want to thank everyone. Thank Elmore Vision. Thank Candy. Thank Miss Poetry over here with her beautiful self, for having me. Look, it's been great. It's been real. I've been having a wonderful year with Elmore Vision, of course. Man, like you say, it's more to come. yeah, like Candy say, go back and check that 10 Reasons out if you hadn't seen it. Because
I'm going
I
to.
actually look, I actually got that role sitting in the barber seat. It was like, oh, we need you. I hadn't even seen the script or nothing.
Mhm.
I didn't even know what I was playing. They was like, we need you.
We
Like,
need this.
pull up, pull up, pull up. Hey, and I pulled
Oh,
up that day, left the barber shop, and got right into it. They hand me the script, said, here. I was like, wait, we starting now? Yeah, right now, today. So I mean, hey, that was a wonderful experience. It just made me have to. It just made me know that I needed to get on my shit. Pretty much.
exactly.
Like it's happening right now. But now
Yeah.
I appreciate that experience and that push. And other than that, we just growing from here. Everybody growing.
Yes,
And I mean,
yes.
we just gonna stay a team and keep it moving.
No doubt.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm Jamie Portry, host of the Dirty Pleasure Show and owner of Dirty Words Apparel. Be sure to check us out on the YouTube channel TDP Show Pod to find this, on replay. And definitely follow our actors and actresses and our executive director and directors. Everybody, we love y'all. Peace.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Peace out.
What's up with
Balloons,
that
I love